There's a certain game store located in Japan which sells all kinds of retro games and consoles and merchandise. It looks like a gamer's paradise. Except look up the store on Google and you'll find it has a shockingly low rating of just 1.9 stars. So why is this store so unpopular? Well, it might have just a little bit to do with fake Pokémon trading cards. Let me tell you the story of the Pokémon card that got a man arrested. Before we start, please don't contact this store or any of the people mentioned in today's video. So, in today's video, we're talking about a counterfeit Pokémon card. But first, we have to set the scene, and that scene is a Japanese retro game store called Alive, or to give it its full name, Araibu Yokkaichi Tokiwa Ten. Now, this store, located in Japan's Mie Prefecture, is about 10,000 kilometers away from where I live. Luckily, the folks over at the Obscure Japan YouTube channel have kindly let me use some footage from when they visited in 2021. So, let's enter Alive and take a look around. First observation, this place is pretty massive. They stock a huge variety of retro consoles, trading cards, old games, and newer games too. However, unfortunately, the store doesn't have a great reputation in the local area. Why? Well, for one, this place is known to engage in a sneaky sales practice known as double pricing. Japanese retro game blogger Orochi explained it best. Double pricing is where products in a store have super low prices, so you think that you're getting a bargain. However, upon taking the product to the checkout, you're told that the price tag is unfortunately out of date, and that the actual price is 1.5 to 2 times higher, hence the name double pricing. Now, I've never heard of double pricing outside of Japan, which makes sense to me. This tactic relies on customers feeling social pressure to go through with the purchase in spite of this higher price. I think if stores tried this in, say, America, there would quickly be shouting matches between customers and staff. But in Japan, where there's more of a culture of not wanting to cause a scene, double pricing can be more prevalent, mainly in the world of retro gaming, according to blogger Orochi. In fact, Orochi told of a story that took place inside this particular store, where one customer was accidentally charged the low price written on the price tag, and when the shopkeeper realized what happened, they chased this customer out of the store, trying to get them to pay the higher price instead. Come back! Come back! It's pretty unbelievable. So yes, Alive's reputation isn't great, but so far this is all just regular shady store tactics. But in 2021, things went one step further, because although this shop is stocked full of tantalizing looking products, beware, because not all of them are real. During their visit to the store, the folks behind the Obscure Japan YouTube channel found multiple counterfeit products.
Is this real?
No, I think it's fake because it's got like turbo buttons. I don't know what that is.
So normal Game Boy?
No, it's a fake game computer.
And it's not just hardware. This store also contains fake games and fake trading cards. Not great. And in November of 2021, one visitor to the store got so fed up with all these counterfeits that they sent an anonymous tip to the local police, telling them this store is selling counterfeit Pokémon cards. Now, that wasn't enough for the police to take action yet. They needed to see one of these fake products being sold to an unwitting customer, and so the local police kept a close watch over this store. And just 1 month later, they got their first piece of proof. Because that very December, a customer at Alive was sold a fake Pokémon trading card. It cost them 2,200 yen, or about $15 US. Here is the card itself. It's a rare card featuring Acerola, one of the Elite Four Pokémon trainers from Sun and Moon. Right now, cards of this design are selling for about 2 to 5 million yen online, or about $10,000 to $30,000. So this customer was getting a great deal, except of course, the card was fake. Now, after this first incident, police continued watching over the store, and in another 2 months' time, one more incident took place. This time, a customer unwittingly bought 3 fake Mega Man games. Here are the 3 games in question. If you notice, 2 of them are actually CDs, and that's because these games were designed to run on the PC Engine CD add-on, which is strange considering that precisely 0 Mega Man games were ever released on the PC Engine at all. In other words, these games weren't just bootlegs, they were bootlegs of a game that never even existed. So, 3 weeks after those Mega Man games were sold, local police arrested the store's owner, a 48-year-old man by the name of Yukinori Harada. And while Harada was taken to the police station, officers began a thorough search of the store. Eventually, they discovered 150 games and trading cards which they believed were fakes. All of those were obviously confiscated by police. Meanwhile, at Police HQ, store owner Harada was interrogated by police officers, and he confessed to everything that very same day, telling police, "There's no doubt that I sold products I thought might be fake." Yeah, normally you'd expect some kind of feigning of ignorance in a situation like this. I didn't know they were fakes, I never suspected anything like that. But no, not only did Harada come out and say that he thought the products he was selling customers were likely fake, he even added, "I displayed counterfeit products in order to increase the store's profits." And so, that's that. There's no doubt that Harada was guilty of the crimes that police alleged he committed. After all, he said so himself. News broke of this arrest and confession the next day, and the reaction from retro game fans online was unanimous. Seems like the owner of that store that's infamous among retro gamers has finally been arrested. At last, Alive is done for. I've heard nothing but bad rumors about them increasing the price from what's on the label when you bring an item to the counter, or about them selling counterfeit items without a care in the world. So, as you can see, people weren't exactly broken-hearted by the news of this store owner's arrest. However, that very same day, the official Alive Twitter account released a statement which many found surprising. "Dear customers, thank you for always visiting our store. We deeply apologize for any inconvenience caused by the series of news reports. At the current time, as the investigation is ongoing, we will refrain from making a comment. The store will remain open as usual." That seems weird, right? Like, half of the online comments surrounding the news reports assumed that the store would be shutting down. But only 1 day later, this shop was apparently open for business. But that was back in 2021. What about now? Well, to find out, I emailed that Orochi guy I mentioned earlier who runs a Japanese blog about retro gaming. And he told me the store still seems to be open for business. So, if the owner was arrested, if 150 fake products were seized by police, how is it still running? Well, I read up a whole bunch on what happens when you're arrested for a crime like trademark infringement in Japan, and to cut a long story short, in a minor case like this where police only had 2 actual sales on record, prosecutors most likely wanted the suspect to simply pay a fine. And according to major Japanese law firm Atom, a fine for a crime of this kind would likely sit between 300,000 and 500,000 yen, or about 2 to 3,000 US dollars. I think that's the most likely course of action that prosecutors took. After all, the store never shut down, so it's unlikely its owner is sitting behind bars in a Japanese prison somewhere. And that's how the story ends. If you're ever in the area, keep your eyes peeled for this retro game store of legend. But I recommend exercising caution before buying any products. After all, the store is still receiving negative reviews on Google to this very day. "The attitude of male and female clerks is arrogant and very unpleasant," says one person. Ouch. But now you know not to open your own retro game store and sell people counterfeit Pokémon cards, because if you do, you might just get yourself arrested. By the way, I've actually talked about another fake Pokémon-related incident on the channel before, when US Border Control detected thousands of dollars worth of fake Pokémon toys being imported into the country. If you haven't heard the story, then be sure to check out my video on the topic. And I'll see you next time. Bye!